Update us on where y'all at this stage, OTAs, and with the mini camp around the corner.
Yeah, I think we got, majority of our playbook offensively, defensively, and then special teams. I feel like we've gotten into every single phase. So we've got a good start, I think. We've installed, like I said, a lot of our stuff. So I think that's the biggest key right now is just making sure that we're understanding what is being, installed every single day, and then also gaining trust within each other and gaining trust with the coaches that, we can move forward and, go to the red zone, go to third down, and stuff like that. So it's just right now it's just all about trust and having each other's back and knowing exactly what not just your job is, but what the nickel's doing, what the corner's doing, or offensively vice versa as well. So, yeah.
And all the Twitter GMs are saying, hey, they need some more cornerbacks, but you see them every day. How are the young guys doing? Phillips, and Mike Hughes still.
Yeah, everybody's doing well. I think our group is very tight, very close, and it doesn't matter who's out there. There's always going to be Twitter GMs everywhere. But I mean, if we trust each other in the group that we have already, which we do, it don't matter who's on the field. The standard is going to be the standard for our DB room. And as a leader, that's something that I got to do, and be vocal and making sure that not just Clark or Mike, Trey and some of the younger guys that just came in, they're going to have opportunities. Maybe not here, maybe other places, but they'll know what the standard is that we have for our DB room. So excited to keep on building on that.
Jessie, do you think you guys have done enough to help your pass rush? And I'm talking about through free agency, the draft, and just whatever strategy you guys might have.
Yeah, I thought we got a lot of young guys up front that are very versatile, that can rush the edge a little bit and play inside and play the run. Terry and them, I don't think that they're done with the offseason. There's still a lot of observing going on week in and week out. That's why we're out here. But I'm sure they'll have a plan. I feel comfortable with the guys that we have. Like I said, we had a really good year. I feel like as a defense as a whole, and it's just something to build off of for this year. And whether we go get a new guy or whether we don't, whoever's on that edge better go get to the quarterback as soon as possible. So, yeah.
Now that you're kind of past first impressions, what's it been like working with Jimmy? Like, what have you learned about him?
With Jimmy, he's the same guy every day. He has a bunch of jokes that he starts off with the meeting, but very detailed guy. And he's not a guy that's going to be, or not yet, anything hasn't hit the fan, but he's not going to be, cussing everybody out or anything. But he just really wants to understand, what guys are thinking, and he wants us to think like him. And I think it's really cool to have, a coach that's, open to have conversations and, see stuff through a different lens than rather just being, hey, no, this is how it should be. This is exactly how this is the only way we should play it. But Jimmy has done a really good job of mixing up some things and doing a really good job of just communicating with us, with all the guys from top to bottom.
So are they like dad jokes, funny jokes?
Yeah, I can't say some of the jokes, but they're pretty funny.
Who's funnier, him or Ra?
Ra. I have to go with Ra. Ra is number one right now.
Coach Morris said he's not changing the culture here, he's building on it. I know it's early, but what are first impressions of that culture that he's building on?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. He's not trying to change anything. Like I said, I think we've got really good leaders on this team that are going to lead, and his job is just to continue to critique us and show us how we should practice, show us how plays are supposed to be looking. And the thing with Ra, what makes him so unique is a lot of these head coaches are either an offensive guy or a defensive guy, and Ra is a guy that's hands-on with the offense, hands-on the defense. And when we have our team meetings, that's some of the best team meetings that I've ever been around. So just says a lot about, what we're building here. And there's no better leader than to have Ra joking around and also holding people accountable as well.
When did you get a sense that these are some of the best meetings that you've ever been around that you just mentioned?
Yeah, really just I think it's just the vibe and just the way he approaches, the way he communicates is what really stands out to me. Sometimes coaches like try to go pick on somebody and be like, oh, I'm not picking on you at all. And Rod's like, no, I'm picking on you. I want you to be better. I expect more from you. And he makes that very clear. And I think that's, as a player that's been in the league for 7 years, that's something that you respect. And I think that's going to lead to us winning football games here.
You've been asked a couple of times about some of the younger guys. DeMarco Hellum's now getting into his second year. What do you notice from him, especially this early on?
Yeah, Marco has done a really good job. I've always told Marco he has no problems playing football, seeing it and feeling it. But the biggest thing I've seen is him understand the playbook and just being able to be like, oh, this is the same thing as what we ran last year, or being able to just process routes and stuff like that. I think Marco is he wants to hit people right now, but he can't do that. But I can see the improvement and the growth that he's making as a player and as a person. So it's really cool to see.
You guys talking about playing basketball, a local gym here in Flowery Branch. How much are you a part of that?
Oh, I haven't got the invite. I think they might be scared or something. I have to. Yeah, I don't know. We got a little basketball room in here. We play horse and pig and stuff like that. But I would say I probably have the best jumper on the team.
Is that something you do in the off-season at all to, work on training the guys?
Yeah, some of my best friends, one of my best friends, Malik Williams, he plays professional basketball. He was with the Raptors last year. So, I like to go pick and roll a little bit with him and get some cardio in during the off-season. It's just always something I'm a 3-sport athlete, so I try to play softball a little bit, try to go play basketball, because those things I think translate into the game of football. So, yeah, I'm a hooper.
Have you seen it translate?
So,
How have you seen it translate?
Just simply sliding your feet as a defender on basketball, or like I said, just simply cardio. And then baseball, it's the same thing for me. I always say it. It's the same thing reading a baseball off a bat, and same thing as a quarterback throwing the ball. So that translates, and I think I thank my mom for that.
How much are you chatting with your old mate T Higgins about what's going on in Cincinnati right now? Because you kind of went through a similar situation.
Yeah, that's my dog, T Higgins. That's a premier player that you don't see every day. Maybe come up in the market. But the biggest thing is, you can't control that kind of stuff. I've been through that process through the franchise tag, and I let it weigh on me a little bit more than I should have, and it affected my play and how I was living my day-to-day life. So my thing for T is just, work on your craft. It don't matter. If this is the contract year, I say it every time. Every year is a contract year. You should go out there and ball out and train like this is one of your last years to play. So that's I keep in touch with T. He got the same agent and stuff. So he'll be fine. He'll get his payday.
Jessie, how much of what you're seeing from this new defensive regime feels familiar versus how much is new to you?
Yeah. On defense, it don't matter what coverage or call is out there. Don't let them catch it. Don't let them score the ball. But I think something that's has been similar is just the talk of getting to the ball. Simple stuff like that right now. Just getting to the ball, attacking the ball, keeping the ball, knowing where your leverage is, keeping the ball in the shoot. That type of stuff is what we're working on right now, and being able to trust each other. And when we're in cover two, this guy should be the outside player, and this guy should be hitting it inside. So it's just stuff like that. We could talk about that all day, but the main thing for us as a defense right now is just running, getting to the ball, training our bodies to, make calls and communicate when we're tired as well. So yeah.
What's going on in Miami? Joint practices?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I just got a question for you. You mentioned that you believe everything that they're doing here with the system. What's your vision for the defense for 2024?
That's very unique. I've never seen that before in my life. But our goal for 2024 as a defense is to be top 5 in every single category. That's the goal, and the main thing is win football games. I felt like last year we put together really good games where at the end of the games we let up. We let offenses score in critical situations, and I think that's where we got to get better at as a defense. being able to close out games, having an elite quarterback like Kirk, we're going to put some points on the board. So being able to defend the lead and take over a game as a defense is something that we'll continue to harp on and get better at.
Yeah, and it was announced today you all have joint practices with the Dolphins. This will be the third in the last 4 years, but how have they been fruitful? How was that fruitful for you all last year?
Yeah, we out here during OTAs going against each other. We'll come back during training camp and, go against each other again. So that kind of gets repetitive and, you start seeing fights and stuff like that. So we don't want to fight each other. It'll be nice to go and take that out on Miami. Hopefully there won't be too many fights, but being able to, play against a different team and playing against a guy like Cheetah and Odell, and those guys, that's going to be good for us to feel some speed, 3 weeks away from the season. So I think that's always productive for us to have joint practices.